Welcome back to Kings at the Table podcast, where if you're a king, you belong at the table. And Juan, we got into this last week real quick. Let's get into this last week with the divisional round, and your Detroit team.
What up, Detroit?
They pulled it off. They beat Mayfield in that boat, that Buccaneers boat. They took it down.
They sunk the battleship, homie.
They sunk it down. So
they look pretty nice doing it. Although there was that one thing you brought up to me, which we'll get to in a second, about how that game ended out. But other than that, I think the Lions look pretty good all the way around. There was a couple big splash plays that they got. Defense was looking okay. There's one thing that is catching my eye, and it's also not only because one, he used to be on the Steelers, but I'm just seeing him getting toasted week in and week out, and that's Cam Sutton. If the Lions can't fix that situation, oh man, it's gonna be really bad going into next week.
the DB.
Yes, Cam Sutton. He's been giving it up a lot. He just ain't covering good. But other than that, everybody else on the offensive side looked pretty good. Jared Goff, what's that? Almost 300 yards again this week. 2 tuggies.
Yeah.
The running game was doing what it was doing. So there's a lot of upside going in for the Lions after this good win against the Bucs.
Yeah, I thought overall it was a pretty good game. Like, it was never out of hand. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, it's for sure Lions.
Yeah.
You still felt like the Bucs could have made a run and win the game. And, again, like you just brought up, at the end of the game, I mean, I don't want to get straight into it, but that kind of bothered me. Like, I get it. You're down 7, 4 down, and you don't even call timeout. I don't understand that not calling timeout part.
I think the part that upsets you is because it's like that football IQ that we've had after, like, okay, your odds, chances, or whatever. I think that's that's the upsetting part about it, and that was the part that I was gonna get it. That eventually we were gonna get into, but yeah, going back to what you're saying though, like that didn't make sense in a big way, especially if your season's on the line,
Yeah.
like and you didn't like basically like pre-planned yourself for a situation come up like that. Go ahead and break it down a little bit.
Yeah,
quick.
it's just the fact that, okay, you ask the coach, and they're like, all right, coach, so why would you not call a timeout? You're down 7. You have a timeout available, and it's 4 down. Like, I get you're on your own field. You're throwing in the white flag. You're like, yeah, dude, we quit. It's the playoffs. He ends up saying, oh, they would have ended up making the kick, so we just felt like let's just end the game, basically, in other words. And it's like, how the hell do you just give up like that? Like, call the timeout. You just seen 2 critical missed field goals this past weekend, which we'll get into, but field goals are not guaranteed. I mean, not even free throws, and we're Kings fans.
Yeah, that part. Damn.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, God damn it. You play the game,
Exactly. You play it all the way out. And that, again, it goes back to football IQ. I mean, give yourself the best opportunity to make a play. And I mean, obviously, what was it, like 30-something seconds left, and you have that one timeout. Why not use it? Why not? Okay, like you said, people have been missing field goals a lot this year.
For
and
sure.
especially key moments to give yourself a slight edge. So again, you got to put your team in the best position to win the game.
I mean, I get the fact that it's almost like a miracle, but miracles happen, man. We've seen the Minnesota miracle with Higgs.
Yep.
Let's say they missed. They get a couple 10 yards, go out of bounds, and throw a Hail Mary. You never know.
Yep.
Why keep that timeout? What is that going to do? What?
They're going to save it for next year.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That shit's crazy. But again, the Lions look good, like you were saying. Shouts out to Gibbs, too.
Gibbs
did
Jameer.
his thing. Going into next week, we're going to get into that later, but I think they got something going on that's pretty special in Detroit, man.
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a long time coming, the slow buildup that we've been seeing. And, to say, like, damn, that was a quick build process of how they got from A to B where they're at now.
One thing we can relate as Kings fans is how they haven't been in the playoffs for so long. When I was watching that game, I mean, luckily I was at that game, that first game in Sacramento when they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like unheard of. Like, the feeling, it was like, bro, like game 7. As sad as that sounds, It was for the city a game 7. I seen that, and they speak about it, the fan bases, and it's like that shit was rocking in that stadium, bro. Like, I can only imagine the feeling as a Lions player. They're probably like, bro, we have a chance this year.
Oh yeah, for sure they do. They definitely have a chance, especially. I think they have a couple pluses in their back pocket, especially going into the next game. But getting into that later. again, like talking about the playoff environment, the vibe, the energy, you know, and you're seeing it out there on the, you know, when they show the stands, man, like you're like, man, they're living in that moment, and you can hella see that stuff. Like it's like again, like us being Kings fans, like you know, when we were watching the games and you just sit there like, damn, like you got that feeling. You're at home watching it, and you're just like, damn, oh, I'm hella juiced.
For sure.
Yeah, but you know, again, congratulations to Detroit getting there.
Real quick, before we go away from this game, as far as how the Bucs have a ton of guys that are free agents this next year,
that's going to be something to talk about soon.
They had a pretty good year.
Yeah, especially, you know, Baker showing that, you know, he's, you know, it might have just been the change of scenery.
Yeah, like he has that what is it? That it factor again. Like he's like, I want to play. I want to be that guy. I'm the leader. He's kind of carrying himself that way.
Yep.
So
hopefully they can keep a lot of those key pieces in going into the, you know, offseason, seeing what happens.
For sure. And one team that will be keeping a lot of the key pieces is the Houston Texans.
Yep. You know, hey, good season for them. Look good. I mean, it looked cool until halftime.
Yeah, it's overall, it was pretty good. Like you're saying, a good game until halftime. The score was 34-10. Big trust in the Ravens. Lamar Jackson came out, balled out. They kind of show that they're the number one team in the NFL.
Oh yeah, man. They everything's rolling for them right now, and like they're just not even skipping a beat. Defense is on point. I mean, they practically shut them down the second half. Nothing. Final score was what, 34-10, right?
34-10.
Yep. So I mean, you're talking about you shut down one of the most, you know, young, high-powered quarterbacks in the league, and you held him to 10 points.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of teams didn't do that this year to him.
And that one touchdown was a kick return.
It wasn't even from him. So
yeah.
I mean, that kind of like basically only helped them out on the board for a little bit.
But again, I think that does speak volumes to their defense. It's like they're very underrated till this day. And we all know that they have a great defense, but they're showing it every week. Like, yeah, y'all better know that we have the
P's
number one
and Q's
defense.
right there, man. That defense is like A1 tip top, which is, you know, that's going to be scary, especially how they're rolling going into, you know, every week. You know, how they've been rolling every week. They've just been like, man, they're on it every single week. And Lamar Jackson is showing you why he's the MVP of the league, putting everybody on notice, especially with the performances that he's been having these last couple of weeks, man. Like, he's A1.
Yeah, he's for sure MVP, man.
I mean, we've covered that a million times.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's just showing that, like, every single week. And, like, there's nothing you can take away from him.
No.
He's just that pure dominant.
What I noticed a lot on this last game, I understand that he ran for 100 yards, which is huge, had 2 rushing touchdowns just as a quarterback, which they always use that as criticism towards Lamar, like, oh, he's a running quarterback. Well, that's kind of what the NFL is going like. Like, let's keep it real. The last couple Super Bowls, there's always been a mobile quarterback in them. You know, you have Mahomes won a lot. Hurts was there. He lost. He's mobile. It's just the new age of what's coming. And Lamar, he has a lot to prove, and he needs to win that Super Bowl. I mean, the media is blowing it up as fact that MVPs ain't going to count no more for him. He needs that Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And he does.
He's going to get 2 birds with 1 stone. He's going to get the MVP and probably win the Super Bowl, too, and the Super Bowl MVP.
For sure.
If he could put up a full performance that he's been doing, I mean, what's stopping him?
One thing, again, that stood out, he had hella time back there. And I was watching the game with my boy Nick. He's a Texans fan. You met him at Uncle Bueno. And he's a diehard, and he had me weak because we were watching it at Buffalo Wild Wings, and some dude was clapping because he was a Raven fan.
Oh, man, if I was there, I would have been like, hey, you ready? Let's go get him.
And all he said was, quit clapping over there.
Oh, damn.
Quit clapping. I'm like, damn, dude, he can't cheer for his team. Anyways, he had all day back there, and that's dangerous. If you can't get to Lamar and he's mobile, shit.
What do you expect to do?
How do you going to stop this guy?
You can't. Especially if you're giving him that much time. Again, you know, a lot of people knock Lamar about how he throws and things like that, but the guy can throw. He's got an arm. He can launch it. You give him like fucking 3 seconds back there and let him catch somebody wide open. He'll air it out.
Fuck yeah.
He will air it out, and then you're just like, damn, we fucked up.
How is it that he's doing all this with his number 1 target not there?
And Zay Flowers? Oh,
Andrews.
Mark
Andrews is coming back this week. And he's looking like that without him. Like, you're talking Mark Andrews, that's a top 2 tight end in the league.
Yep, and he's doing it right now with the young guy, Likely.
So
yeah. He's more than likely going to be a little bit more dangerous this week.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Texans real quick. You know, they had a hell of a year.
Yep.
You know, you did go against a juggernaut team, and You know,
Hey, I mean, although the score says 34-10, I mean, they didn't back down.
no.
They kept trying. You know what I mean? And the team with this is going to be one of those morale losses where they're like, all right, hey, remember this feeling next year. We're not going to try to. They're not. They're going to have that thought process because they're all young.
Yeah.
And they were missing some guys, and they'll get them back next year and see what kind of team this is going to turn into, especially with draft capital that they got and what else they're going to add and bring onto the table.
They got a ton of money to spend too.
No,
And
that's the scary part.
like you're saying, they're getting their guy Tank Dell back. That's already a two-headed monster of receivers. Just throws a couple pieces on defense, bro.
And
Maybe get him a solid tight end, even though they got Schultz, which he did good. Hey, or a solid running back.
Improve the offensive line. Get a couple guys that are missing. That are going to become free agents. Maybe some veteran leadership on the defense.
I think that's definitely the team to watch out for next year as far as the offseason. Like, we're going to be paying close attention to what the Houston Texans do.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they pick up some solid key pieces, we're going to be like, yeah, that team is contending this
And
year.
then we're going to tell you, we told you guys to be on the lookout for them. And look,
sure.
they're just going to slide on in.
Yeah, and one team that just slid on in was the goddamn Packers, man. And they started to make moves. They beat the freaking Cowboys, and it looked like they were going to beat the Niners.
Almost beat the Niners. Man, that was a close one. I will say, though, that last throw by Jordan Love, shouts out, giving Jordan Love his love and everything like that. He played a hell of a game, had a great season. The whole team as a unit. I'm really starting to really like this this wide receiving core that they got, man. That young, solid core. Shouts out to the homeboy Rob, Green Bay Packers. He had me listening. He was cutting me up, and he goes, man, he goes, listen to this, and I was listening to how Matt LaFleur was breaking it down, and they had Romeo Dobbs, talking. And I was like, man, he
was in the press conference.
So no, it was like I want to say like a first take or something like that.
Okay.
And they had him on there, and they were asking him questions, and I really liked the answers that he was giving them. It was like, are you the head of this wide receiving core and da-da-da-da? And I was like, man, he better answer this right. I was like, I want to hear him say the right thing. And he goes, I feel like we all bring something different to the table, so we're all one unit. It's not one of us is better than the other. It's like, I respect that. He knows what they got going on, as a wide receiving core, but they'll get better as time gets, with this whole new team. And again, the youngest team to make the playoffs, 25 years old.
Who said that? A receiver said that, or
Yeah,
LaFleur?
Romeo Dobbs.
Oh, okay, Dobbs.
Yeah,
okay.
so it was cool to hear him say the right things and everything like that, and not take too much from anybody else, because he did have that really good game against the Cowboys, and he was like, "Nah, man, it took all of us. It was all of us thing." So that young team is going to be another one that's, again, like the Houston Texans that we're talking about now. Wait till the offseason happens. Is what if these teams make the right moves? But unfortunately, they came up short against the 49ers.
Yeah, again, like you're saying, I think they're identical from the NFC and AFC is the Houston and the Packers. I kind of touched that last week. They're almost identical of how young they are and how they're upcoming and the upcoming of their quarterback.
Yes.
But again, your receivers too, though, because Houston has some young receivers too. They're identical, dog.
Yeah, pretty close.
And it's pretty cool to see that they went against the identical team too, damn near.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they did lose the game. Love had 2 crucial turnovers. He didn't look like the Love of the week prior.
Yeah.
I don't know if that had a lot to do with the Niners, but I felt like the Niners defense was off all game. Like, they were getting open plays.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, is that literally LaFleur's designs? Like, is he that great? Like, the week prior, we're like, bro, that shit's hella fake. How the hell is he open? Like, nobody's
every
even
single
close
time.
They had about 2 or 3 of those against the Niners.
Yeah.
You feel me? And those are 2 top defenses.
Let's not also forget the one thing that was very uncharacteristic of the Niners were a lot of pass interference calls.
Yeah.
They were getting burned out there. So, I mean, maybe that might have been the factor where, like, touching what we were saying, like, dude, these guys are wide open. Well, they were about to get wide open, but what happened right then and there at the last second, very crucial, like, on third downs. It almost seemed like it always happened on the third down.
Third down, yeah.
And they instead of doing, like, the short little, like, let's say it's, like, 3rd and 5, these guys were airing one out for, like, 20, 30 yards down the field, and then they got hit every time with the same PI, every time. So, I mean, that's kind of huge, especially, like, you're allowing this team to stay in the game, and especially with the momentum that they had from the week before. that was kind of a shifty move. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it kind of worked out for them.
Definitely. I think the Packers blew this one, though. I didn't think it was the Niners winning. I think it was the Packers losing, which is a lot coming from going into the game. I don't know. A lot of people didn't really expect that. The Packers came and punched them in the mouth. They were fighting back the whole time, bro. Like, I was like, God damn. Are the Niners really about to lose this? Like, I couldn't believe it. Like,
it was a lot closer than I think a lot of people anticipated.
And then there was that fourth down. They were up 3-0. They were in the red zone. That's one thing that threw me off. They got greedy, bro. And it was 4 down. Take the damn field goal. You get 6 points. You feel me? And that later on killed them. They lost by 3. That's a guaranteed fucking. It's not guaranteed because he did miss one, which is crucial.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they would have been tied. But if everything went the way it went.
And kicked that one that they would have won, bro. But again, Purdy has a lot of backlash right now saying that he didn't look like the guy that everybody thought he was as far as the MVP all season. He kind of struggled, and they said it had to do with the rain, and he had a glove, having small hands. It's a bunch of, what is that, excuses?
It sounds like excuses.
It's like, come on, dog.
Well, I mean, let's not forget, they have a kind of an interesting thing when it comes to rain. For some weird reason, the Niners
I remember
and
that.
rain, it doesn't.
With the Bears game?
That one, that was a crazy-ass one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's probably not the only one, but for some reason, the Niners can't really play in the rain, and I guess being that little home field advantage almost wasn't home field advantage for them.
And it sounds like a joke, but
it's kind of like the paper. I think it might be on paper. I will definitely look it up.
That's something that, I think Niner fans could understand it because you obviously know your team, but I think we're kind of serious when we say when it comes to rain, the Niner team doesn't come out the same.
Yeah, just slightly kind of not normal. Again, like what we witnessed on the other day watching this game. Because going back to what you said, did the Niners even get a sack that game? I don't think they got a sack.
I'm not quite sure. Yeah,
that was one that was. I'm not 100% sure. I had a buddy of mine was telling me, like, bro, we didn't even get to Jordan Love. I'm like, no, you guys got to him once. He goes, no, we never got to him. I was like, that's crazy.
But McCaffrey did his thing, though.
McCaffrey did that. He got his 2 touchdowns. He got that really big run that they needed at the end of the game to score that one last touchdown.
I think one thing we got to make clear that, everybody that's seen the game obviously knows, but Debo got out first quarter, and that's huge to why the offense wasn't moving that much. I get that. Like, that is huge because you probably game planned around Debo a lot.
Yep.
One guy that stepped up was Jennings.
He really did.
He was the X factor of the game. They probably would have lost without him because it was a bunch of third downs that he was coming in clutch.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, he was putting out good blocks. There was a couple ones where he was lighting dudes up on the blocks.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, he's doing all the Debo stuff. So, that was a really fortunate thing that you had somebody like him step in and be like, all right, don't worry about it. I got this part. So, shouts out to him. One thing I did notice, going to Kelsey, I'm sorry, not Kelsey, Kittle. Going to Kittle was working for them, and they kind of just went away from that. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, there was a couple big plays.
The touchdown. That deep touchdown of 40 yards or so.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there was success going to Kittle, and then they just stopped. So, I don't know. Maybe they got to go back on that drawing board and kind of drive plays to work around him right now. But, seeing what's going to happen with Debo this week, if he's going to be 100% or, that's something to keep an eye on.
For sure. Well, let's get into this last game. It's the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Mahomes went into Buffalo, got the win, 27-24. Josh Allen and the Bills had the lead at half and couldn't win.
Couldn't do anything.
Yeah, what do you think, Juan? Because you called me pretty mad about it.
Yep. And I was frustrated at the fact that I was like, okay, I counted these guys out already, the Buffalo Bills. I counted them out. I was like, man, but I didn't have confidence in the Chiefs. So I was like, the Bills better win this one. They need to get this game back. It's been a long time coming. They got that win earlier in the season, which was not even that long ago.
I think they're undefeated against the Chiefs in the regular season.
And
that shit don't count.
It don't count because obviously look who stayed home and who's going to the next round. So, hats off to the Chiefs. They won that game. But, man, it was kind of like ugly to see that second half, especially how the Bills could not move the ball. They could not move the ball that second half. In the first half, they were looking nice, boom, boom, boom. Everything was working. And then they just came out, couldn't move the damn ball. It seemed like they couldn't get past the 50. And that was ugly, Rich. Like, and I told you, like, when I called you on after the game, I was like, Rich, really, like, they really couldn't move the damn ball. And you're like, Juan, what have I been telling you? Josh Allen's not the guy.
Yeah,
and
that's not even what I said. I was saying more of it happened last week against you guys.
Oh yeah.
I said it's the same exact shit. We've been saying it all years. Like, they a really good first half team and never adjust in the second half, and teams adjust to them. And then they're just like shocked, like, oh, damn, you guys ain't doing the same fucking plays? No, dog, this is the NFL. We're going to adjust to what you're doing. Maybe the first half we let you go all out and show us your fucking cards, and then we're going to call you out. We're going to call your bluff. That seems like that's what happens with the Buffalo Bills. You call their damn bluff, they're going to lose the damn hand. You feel me? Like, they're very, they're not just like, they're not bullies, but they're very aggressive with their hand. They're like, yeah, I got fucking maybe Pocket Jacks. He thinks he's hella fucking. They're gonna win all the time, and they keep raising. And you have Pocket Kings over there. You're gonna call that shit.
Yeah, of course.
You feel me? Eventually, you're gonna catch on.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because, man, I'm telling you, they couldn't get a first down for nothing. All their plays, offensively and defensively, they were getting handled by the offensive line from the Chiefs. They started turning it up. They started running the ball. They're like, we're going to run this down your throat. And that's what they did. Hell yeah. They just started bullying the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And it showed, like, that was all the Bills had. Yeah. They hella gassed themselves out in the first half.
But Josh Allen did look good, though. Like, we're not going to take it away from him.
I mean, he had a couple great plays.
He had a passing touchdown and 2 rushing. I mean, he was looking like a freaking mobile Big Ben. That's how big he was.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I mean, that was nice to see. But, I mean, man, can't get past that hump.
Yeah.
And it's. I don't know, Rich.
Mobile Phillip Rivers?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll just chalk it up now.
They just can't get over the hump ever.
They just can't do it. I think they even brought a stat line I think they were almost identical. Something about Josh Allen and the Bills and then the Chargers of that one year that we were talking about.
Oh, they actually brought that up
I think I seen that. I should have saved it.
Yeah, you should have sent me that.
No, I seen it, and you were the first person. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, fucking Rich said this shit a long time ago already.
Shit. But yeah, the Chiefs, they look good, man. That this is their first road game with Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And then I was kind of hoping for that. Like, I chose them to win. I said I could still see the Buffalo Bills win, but I'm rooting for the Chiefs as far as them winning because I want to see Mahomes do it on the road. And he did it. As far as his legacy, his greatness.
Yeah.
Like, if he would have lost that, they would have been like, oh, Mahomes can never do it on the road.
He has to be a home guy.
Again, they're probably going this next game. I got Baltimore. We'll get into that.
Mm-hmm.
But at least he got that road win.
Yeah.
You know,
he secured that one in the bag at least.
As far as, like, when it comes to legacies, he going forward, maybe in a year or two, he could probably pull off a road win to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's just hope not this year. I'm playing.
Yeah, I know, for sure. One thing, though, Kelsey's brother, you see what he was doing on
Oh, man, he was having a fun day. He was taking shots out of the bowling ball with the crowd, and he was, man, you would have thought that guy was in a fraternity or something.
You would have thought you were watching fucking WWE.
For reals, hopping out the windows, chugging beers in the stands, and then you cleared one right back into the room.
I'm like, dude, I thought I turned in to watch football, and I'm over here watching the crowd.
That was more entertaining than the game?
That shit's mind-blowing to me right now. Like, what's going on with these side things and the fans? It's like, dude, I'm trying to watch football. I don't really give a damn what Taylor Swift's doing or Jason Kelsey. I mean, it's cool. It's entertaining because that's what this is now. It's not a sport. It's an entertainment. But it's like, dog, what am I tuning into? Can I just watch the damn game?
WWE, bro. They got damn near almost as many celebrities as when you watch the UFC fights. And they showing people who's all in the crowd. You're like, damn, this is the same thing.
Straight up.
Yep.
But, yeah, let's get into these matchups, Juan, because it's pretty two good goddamn matchups that we actually wanted in a way so that we can get into it more. The Lions and the Niners, man. This is the NFC Championship. Detroit has to go into San Francisco. What are your thoughts? How do you see it going?
I think the Niners should be a little worried. Because right now, as of last week, you know, watching that game, Aaron Jones had a ball. He balled out that game. And I think they said it was the first time in I don't know how many games that the Niners allowed a single rusher over 100 yards. Now going in against the Detroit Lions, you got a two-headed dragon in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Those two guys complement each other very, very nice. I will not be surprised if they can wear down that Niners defensive line and carry out some big runs. But then again, going back to what I said earlier, that secondary of the Detroit Lions kind of scares me a little bit, especially the Cam Sutton factor. Like, he's not looking good. If he's lined up with Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to just look at Ayuk and be like, go. Just go. I'll throw it to you. And he'll get burnt because Mike Evans was doing him dirty.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of...
that is Mike Evans, though. You're talking about an all-time great.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, he's been doing this progressively all season. He's been getting toasted out there, so kind of like an Eli Apple, if you will.
Okay.
So, I mean, and Brandon Ayuk's got wheels.
Oh, for sure. They got weapons.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be the scary part about it. So, those are the two big concerns that I have from each side. But what about you? How do you feel about this matchup going in?
I think it's going to be a hell of a matchup. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think because a lot of people are favoring the Niners, and I get it. But I can see the Lions definitely beat them. Like, it's not even – I don't think it's even like a 60-40. I think it's like a 55-45% right now. It's really close of the matchup. As far as the Lions, what they've been doing this whole postseason that I've been wanting to see because I'm like, yeah, they're just a regular season team. Well, what they're doing in the postseason is like, okay, watch out for them because they are starting to get into the groove. They just beat the damn hardest team going into the playoffs was the Rams. Yeah, the Bucs ain't all that, but they did what they had to do at home.
Yep.
They haven't had that slump yet in the playoffs, and it's like, okay, the Niners are coming off a slump. Yeah. How they look, don't get me wrong, they won. They beat the Packers. I get it. But it's kind of how the Bills beat the Steelers. It was like a slump. Yeah. Even though they won.
It was like a little rusty.
You take that shit into the next game. I don't care what anybody says. It's a mental thing, bro. And it's really hard to like, yeah, it's like, we won, bro. Like, we going into the next week. I get it. We ready. But it's not like, yeah, man, we then won. So we ain't the ball. It's not like the Baltimore Ravens. Like, yeah,
Ravens are having fun going into the next game.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, you see when we just did at Houston, we ready to go up in. Oh, you Kansas City, get your ass over here. We ready for y'all.
Come on, hurry up so we can go get our planes.
Yeah, Niners ain't saying, oh, Detroit, pull up. We ready. Nah, they're like, oh shit, we got a tough one right here.
Yep.
You feel me? And that carries on.
What do you think is going to be probably the most interesting factors going into this game from both sides, whether Detroit and 49ers?
Like as far as X factors, I think a ton's going to have to do with Hutchinson. If he can get pressure to Purdy, which he's bringing the most pressure in the playoffs all so far this playoffs. Mm-hmm. If he can get to Purdy, bro, woo, shit, boy,
scare him a little bit.
That's a long night. The way Purdy looked last week. But not just that, the offense of the Lions, bro, we just saw what the Packers did to the Niners, bro. The Lions are fucking a badass offense. And you know that. You've been saying it all year.
Yep.
What up, Detroit?
Every week.
You know what I'm saying? Every damn week. And that offense is what got them there. Yeah. I get the pressure of Hutchinson, but you got Hawkinson, St. Brown, the two-headed monsters with the running backs, and we're gonna forget about the number one
Laporta.
Pick. Yeah, Laporta.
Yeah, he said Hawkinson.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Laporta. Yeah, you're right. Laporta, St. Brown, and the two-headed monsters, and they were forgetting about the number one pick in the quarterback in Goff going against the last pick in Purdy. Mm-hmm. You feel me? That's a little statement. Like, I get he's getting all this love with the last pick, but don't forget I'm the number one pick, and I'm balling.
That's true. And let's not also forget, he spent some time with the Rams.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of seen the Niner team before. Maybe not this not this updated, but he's definitely seen this team, and he kind of knows how to play against them. He's played a couple more than his handful of games against Shanahan, so he kind of knows what to expect a little bit.
Which could go vice versa too, though. Like the Niners say, I know their weakness. I know his weakness.
Yep.
So again, it's not. I'm hyping up the Lions, and I'm trying to show you guys how good of a game it is. But the Niners are still that team, though. You feel me? They're at home. They do got a ton of weapons, and they have to bounce back. I think the key thing overall of my decision is if Debo plays. That's it.
Yeah.
If Debo don't play, I think I'm taking the Lions. Straight up.
It's going to be a whole different game plan that they got to strategize for, especially not having the Debo factor.
He's huge, bro.
Yeah.
Like you seen when he was out throughout the season. I know Trent Williams was out with him. But, I mean, it's like they went 0-4.
Yeah.
You feel me?
So that's kind of scary.
Yeah, what you thinking, man?
I mean, I kind of broke it down already. I mean, I'm still gonna roll with Detroit. I think repeating what you're saying, like that defensive line and everything right now is just working out. I'm just kind of worried a little bit on the secondary part. That's the only thing that worries me about the Detroit Lions. But like again, if that offensive line and those two running backs can really get after the Niners defensive line, man, it's gonna be a long day for them.
Are you
I'm running with Detroit.
Detroit?
Let's go Detroit.
Yeah, that's a good take. I'll take Detroit if Debo don't play. If Debo plays, I got Niners. So that's my take.
That sounds fair enough.
Hold on, we got to get into the next one, though. The Baltimore Ravens against the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes.
And those are two teams that neither one of us like.
Yeah.
Division rivals.
Yep.
What do you think? What's your X factor, or how do you feel this one? How you touch on this game a little bit?
Yeah, I just think the way that Lamar's looking and that home field advantage, that's something else, man. Baltimore's home field advantage is up there with the top home fields. Like, just how their crowd gets and where they're at. I don't know if that did I get you mad, bro? I thought you just flinched at me. Like,
what's up, bro? It ain't all that scary, no play.
Fuck, no, but yeah, it's just how they get, and the level of excitement that is going to come with that game, and not just that. The Patrick Mahomes on the road, I get they just won. I think that runs out this week, man. Kelsey's the only thing they really got. They got to go against this goddamn defense that I keep saying is like up there with the best, obviously, this season. So I don't know. I see more of a.
Well, what do you feel about Kansas City's defense? Because they have been showing out a little bit. You know what I mean? In this little playoff run, they've been showing out. They've been stopping teams that have pretty good high-powered offenses. I mean, one with, they shut down the Dolphins. They shut them down.
Yeah.
Then they went into Buffalo, and they shut Josh Allen down at home.
Which
is kind of huge.
Kansas City's defense has been carrying them all year. We've been saying that from like week 3.
So do you think that Kansas City's defense might be able to give Lamar a little bit of a pushback, or do you think Lamar just does Lamar things and handles that down like nothing?
No, yeah. They're going to give him a little run for their money, especially with the coordinator. He knows how to design stuff, but it's I think this one not even being as close as people think, bro. Like, I really think Baltimore's going to light it up. And it's more of they're just complete, dog. Like, I get the Chiefs have that experience, and they're coming in with just a win, but they just beat the Bills barely. Bills didn't have Gabe Davis. All they really had was Diggs, bro. Like, you feel me?
And it showed.
Huh?
It showed.
And it showed.
Because they couldn't get no deep balls thrown anywhere.
Josh Allen was doing it all running. You feel me? If he could run for 70, you telling me Lamar can't run for another 100? He's going to go off. You feel me? He gets Mark Andrews back. He has Zay Flowers, Odell. The list goes on, bro. Like, I could see it being a good game, but if you ask me, I'm taking the goddamn spread. I don't even know what it is. I'm going Baltimore, bro.
Yep.
Like, they're in the Super Bowl. Like, you feel me?
Yep. So yeah, that's true.
What you think, Juan?
I mean, going into it, like, again, as hard as it is for me to admit it, like, these guys, that this is them. Like, I can't see. I mean, I know I said this last week about the Chiefs, but I mean, this is really a different kind of monster, especially going into like. This team doesn't skip beats. Mm-mm. This team, we never thought like, oh, are the Ravens not that good? No, I don't think we've ever said that this whole year.
Nope.
So, I mean, you're telling me that you kind of want me to give these Chiefs a little bit of a chance. Although I just kind of did bring up the fact that their defense is, stepping up. But, I mean, this is a whole different offense. I mean, again, you gave up 70 to Josh Allen.
On the ground.
What's not giving Lamar 100?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going to have options. He's going to be able to throw it. He's going to hand it off. Whatever he's going to do. I think this offense has too much for the Chiefs to handle defensively.
One thing we got to point out, too, is their weakness all year is drops. Now, you're going to go against the most physical team. I'm pretty goddamn sure there's going to be more drops than people expected. Put double coverage on Kelsey. Just lock him down as easy as it sounds.
I don't think you have to because their safety in Kyle.
He's a dog.
He's a fucking monster. Hamilton,
beast,
right?
Bro.
Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton.
He's a monster. Drafted out of Notre Dame.
Bro, I think he's the best in the game, honestly.
Mm-hmm. No,
he's
Mika's up there. Anyways,
that's a good debate. Like, he's up there.
But he is a dog.
Top tier.
Yeah, and you need somebody big, physical. Why not him?
Oh, throw him on just Kelsey?
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, they both got the same size as far as height. I'm not saying width, but I mean, we've seen him get physical. He could
sure.
He could play coverage.
But I think it's more better to have him as like the Ed Reed back there, like just reading the quarterback. Like, just throw 2 guys on him. You feel me? On Kelsey.
Give him 2 linebackers.
Don't give him an option to
put Patrick Queen.
Queen could
Queen could cover.
You feel me? Side to side.
Mm-hmm. And just let Roquan do what he does in the middle.
Who else they got, bro? Like, who the Chiefs really, like, let's keep it real, bro. Like, I get it. It sounds like, oh, man, you hate. Nah, you feel me?
MSV ain't nothing.
Rice.
I mean, Rice is kind of like.
He's coming up.
He's coming up, but you know what, though? He didn't look 100%. There was a couple times where, like, you know, you seen him kind of like hobbling to the side and like, oh, he's either he's dealing with some or he's fine with some or something's aggravated. But, I mean.
The backfield is solid, though. You got
Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You know, it's decent. But
It's okay, but, I mean, you got Roquan Smith over there who's playing quarterback and linebacker.
I think it's pretty hard for us to say that they balance out, like level, like
no,
even.
there's I think it's like this right now. Like, don't get me wrong, the Chiefs are cool and all, but the Ravens are just they're up here. If you put them on the scale, it's like
right away.
It's like, yeah,
it's not even gonna take time to even out.
You're not gonna. No, that shit's just gonna go.
Straight up, fuck.
Oh
yeah.
shit! So I mean, from what it sounds like, your Super Bowl prediction might go either Ravens / maybe Niners Lions.
Depending on Debo.
Yep, and I think I'm just gonna go straight Ravens and let's go Lions.
That's what's up, man.
I think that's the one that I think a lot of people want to kind of see.
Yeah,
but wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, why would we want to watch a replay? The Chiefs and the Niners,
or Ravens and Niners are still replays.
Still replays, but
I mean, shit. Hey, if Niners get there, they get there, dog. Like they've been doing it all year.
Yeah.
Any other little things we need to touch on?
No, that's about it, man. I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens in these two games. Like, I know we touched bases on how we think this is gonna go look, but again, some of these games that we've been like, oh yeah, you know it's gonna be like this. It came out completely different. They ended up being pretty solid games.
Like right now, if the Chiefs make it, we're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big consideration of like how we're gonna see this next week going into the Super Bowl. It's gonna look like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Juan, what do we always say on this show?
If you're a king, you belong
at the table. Make sure you like, share, and comment, and tune in next week.
See you guys on the next one.
Gone.